Hello everyone, Pig Money here, and this is my review of LBank Exchange. Every now and then I embark on a mission to find interesting platforms. I am on a constant search to find the best out there, and whenever I come across something remarkable, I start investigating, testing, and eventually I share what I find. I have had LBank on my radar for quite some time now, and when they launched their copy trading module not so long ago, I started paying close attention. So let's see what the pros and cons are and what makes this exchange truly exceptional. First of all, let's take a look at the origins of LBank, which is, by the way, short for Ledger Bank. It was established in 2015 by Alan Wei and Eric Hay, starting from Hong Kong, moving to the Virgin Islands and going live in October 2016 with the aim of creating an exchange which is community-oriented. It is a predominantly Asian platform, just like most of the centralized exchanges out there. Their territorial focus was mostly on Eastern markets. Since their start more than 7 years ago, LBank has been operating without incidents, security breaches, or legal issues, and not long ago they started opening up to global users. The two founders are quite interesting characters. I think whenever we are talking about platforms that users entrust their investments with, it is extremely important to have an idea about the character of the people in charge. I spent quite some time with watching interviews with both Alan and Eric, and I think they have the right combination of skills and backgrounds. For example, Alan's background is in IT. On top of being the CEO, he is also the one who oversees cybersecurity at LBank. He is deservedly proud of the fact that their platform has never been successfully hacked and their systems have always been fully resistant to cyber attacks. Eric, on the other hand, is this young, visionary type of character who has a rather realistic view on the state of the markets. Whenever I do research on leaders, I tend to listen to interviews from the past just so I could have the benefit of hindsight and see how well their ideas have aged. I have to say, Eric's statements and views are still valid and they pass the test of time quite well. It seems like we have a decent combo here. On one side, we have a tech-centered leader, on the other, we have a visionary thinker. Together, they have formed what is today LBank, which is focused on community, users, and new ideas. Probably because of the mission statement of being community-focused, LBank does extremely well in having small market cap assets listed. Actually, this is how I first came across the exchange. I was looking for some certain tokens but didn't want to use DeFi for purchasing them. Interestingly enough, most of the tokens I was looking for was actually listed on LBank. So it was clear that they were much more open to listing up-and-coming projects than, let's say, Coinbase. A quick look at the available assets, the numbers are quite telling. According to CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, they have over 500 pairs in their spot marketplace. However, it seemed like a relatively small number compared to my first impressions, so I actually counted all the USDT pairs and in fact it is over 1,000. So this places them in the top tier among the centralized exchanges in terms of available assets. Of course, there are some exchanges out there which don't pay too much attention on what assets they are listing on their platforms, but LBank is not one of them. They have a quality check and rigorous vetting process before they actually make an asset available. Needless to say, having microcaps listed on the exchange is not without risks either. I mean, the order books are really thin most of the time. If I want to stock up on a certain microcap coin, I must be wary of how much of that asset is ready to be bought up for the price that I intend to buy it for. However, as market makers still have responsibility to ensure a minimal liquidity available, I still can pack my bags with a bit of attention. So, this would be a bit more difficult with a DEX. It is definitely something that makes my life simple. At the spot trading page, we also have the grid trading option, which is a great tool for long-term profitability if markets are moving sideways in a range that is easy to define. So to give you an example, during this year, if you started off your BTC grid and set your range to be between 20k and 40k, you would be probably in an overall profit with a much better P&L than just buying at 20k and holding. Mind you, in this case, it is very important to nail the timing and catch a bottom range, and you also need to be good in spotting ranging assets. The 7-day projection that is here simply means that the bot calculates the best grid settings retrospectively and extrapolates the results over 12 months, provided that for a whole year the same profitability is achieved. In some other platforms like Pionex, the backtesting is not limited to a week back, but actually they allow a quick estimation for 180 days. While this is nice, the 6-month backtesting simulation is no guarantee for success either, as there is a lot that can happen in half a year. It is seldom that price ranges remain the same unless you set like a really wide bottom and top channel and act like you don't care. Of course, the most convincing argument for the case of grid trading is for super long term, let's say several years. In this case, you just set a ridiculously low bottom and a sky-high top, allocate a massive budget, and then you just let it run for years. In this case, all you need to do is to be careful about the exit level. So, while grid trading is great, and it is surprising that there is only a 7-day backtesting estimation, the best scenario for grids is an extremely long-term setup starting in an extremely low range. As you might expect, if an exchange has a copy trading module, Pigmoney is going to take a close look at it. LBank has this feature for a while now, but it is still at a rather early developmental stage. Regardless, there are some promising profiles. The oldest ones I found are just about 3 months old, but I definitely appreciate that there are some rather active traders from Asia, and I really enjoy seeing them trade. You have the usual user interface, something like BitGet used to have before they revamped the design. My only problem with it is that traders can choose to hide their historical trades, so it doesn't allow users to make a full-scale analysis to fine-tune their copy settings. This is definitely a setback, and I wouldn't be comfortable with copying a trader that I can't figure out really. I mean, a single month's graphic analysis is nice and all, but it still leaves a lot of room for getting liquidated by setting up their copy profile inaccurately. The number of traders available is also quite low at the moment. It cannot be compared to other platforms which are specifically focused on copy trading. Nonetheless, I will keep an eye out. Maybe I will find an exceptionally talented trader that is worth following, and I will definitely report back. Now, whenever it comes to exchanges, one of the most important things is on-ramping from fiat to crypto. Of course, there is a catch. The exchanges that have a really easy and seamless on-ramping solution would also force you to do KYC, so you kind of sacrifice your privacy for an easy access to crypto. LBank has options obviously to buy crypto by credit card or bank card or even by bank transfer, but these are all done by a third party that charges hefty fees for converting your hard-earned fiat money to crypto that ends up in the exchange. The fees are not very friendly. If I want to buy USDT with my card, the charge is around 4% and bank transfer isn't free either. For me, the best course to charge up my LBank account would be either to on-ramp by MetaMask or another exchange like Bitpanda or BitGet. At least on those exchanges, the bank transfer conversions are totally free of charge, and then I just need to send the USDT over Tron or BSC to make sure that I don't lose too much on gas fees. While this is not convenient at all, the benefit is that you are not forced to do KYC. You can actually maintain a decent level of privacy this way. There is a nice dedicated page for NFTs too. However, it appears that it lacks attention by users at this stage. Obviously, this time around the interest about NFTs is pretty much at bottom ranges, so it is not surprising that it feels like a deserted marketplace altogether. Interestingly enough, Eric Hay talked about this in one of his interviews, that this sector is still in its very early stages. Majority of this project is going to fail. Seems like a nice example of a prediction becoming quite accurate. Without some well-marketed collections, I don't believe this is going to be an attractive segment of the exchange, but if LBank is serious about NFTs, I'm sure eventually they will partner up with some professionals to make sure that quality content appears on this page too. Finally, let's take a look at the fee structure. Anyone familiar with the videos on my channel would already know that I am extremely sensitive about payable fees, as I consider them a convenient tax on behalf of the exchange and extremely annoying tax for the users. The costs of opening and closing a transaction at LBank are no different than the rest. It means that for spot trade, it is between 0.10 and 0.20% depending on the asset, and for futures, it is 0.02% for maker fees and 0.06% for takers. As you would have guessed, I tried to get an agreement with LBank to provide a registration link that would grant some discounts to everyone signing up with it. Unfortunately, my request was politely refused. However, I found something rather interesting instead in the white paper of LBK, which is the dedicated exchange token of LBank. LBank has open projects for what they call LBK cornerstone nodes. Nodes are basically pillars of different types of user groups. There is a community node, a trading node, an institutional node, and an ecological node. At the community node, if the community holds and locks 2 million LBK tokens, each community member will get an 80% discount from trading fees. On top of that, they will also get airdrops and other benefits. Let's see the price of an LBK token today. It hovers around 0.011 USDT, so basically it's just above 1 cent USD. 2 million from that would be around 23k USDT. Now, let's imagine there is a community of 200 members. Each of them would need to invest 115 USDT in LBK tokens, and in return, each of them would get an 80% discount from their fees. That would mean that the structure for futures would be 0.004 for maker fees and 0.012% for takers. That is absolutely insane. It's the lowest fee ever. No exchange would ever top that. It basically means that if a community locks up 2 million LBK, the expenses of trading would be at bare operational costs. Of course, the caveat is that all members would need to chip in to the big basket and lock in that community investment. However, if anyone runs the numbers, it is easy to see that it is absolutely worth it. So at this point, I'm actually entertaining the idea of registering for a big money community at LBank, and if there are enough members from the channel viewers who like the idea of coming together for a big discount, I would be willing to buy and lock a substantial amount of LBK tokens from my side. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you would be interested in, and if we can form a group, I will not hesitate to put things into motion. Based on my experience, I can say that LBank is a nice exchange. For me, the best feature is the wide range of small market cap assets that are available, the ease of use, and the community-focused mindset. Sometimes exchanges go over the top and become too complex and too packed for everyday use. Binance is a clear example for that. Most users don't need 100 different functions in their exchanges. For me, it is an exchange that I go to when I want to buy some really rare coins and I don't feel like going DeFi, especially if the token is based on the Ethereum network and gas fees could go insane. Compared to that, just buying the asset with a click of a button is so much easier. LBank has some development to do, obviously, especially if they want to appeal for global markets, but I do like to diversify my crypto holdings across exchanges and cold wallets, so I'm just happy that I have access to this too. I also run a copy trading profile. After a few months, I should have a decent profitable history. Needless to say, I would not hide the historical trades, so feel free to analyze the history before you go and copy. Alright, that's all folks. I hope you enjoyed this little review. The registration link is in the description field below. If you feel like trying out the platform, go ahead and register for an account. Also let me know if you would be interested in coming together for registering the Big Money community at the exchange for totally insane discounts. Remember guys, trade safe, Big Money out.